Hello, everybody. It's Mark Ling here. And can you imagine what it would feel like to run an online physical products business that sold interesting products like, say, heads-up units, for cars, or interesting products like photo frames and foot rockers. These are used for Achilles injuries, by the way, in case you're wondering, or foam balls. Here, grab one. Or selfie sticks and all sorts of other interesting pieces of equipment. There's more than 3 million of these kinds of profitable products to choose from. And imagine if it took less than an hour to build the store. You didn't have to pay for any of these products until after customers ordered from you. All right, so there's low costs involved. And imagine if there was a relatively untapped traffic source full of buyers who are there already looking to purchase the types of products that you're already listing. And imagine also that this does not involve drop shipping from China, no Amazon, no Facebook ads. In fact, it's 8 times cheaper than Facebook in terms of a traffic source, which we'll talk about later. We'll reveal the traffic source in this interview, or one of them anyway. And so that's where my special guest, though, comes in today. He's here today because he has achieved phenomenal success online in a wide variety of different niches. And I'm talking about over 8 figures per year in sales, and not far off that in terms of profit as well. It's absolutely phenomenal. But it's not actually necessarily him that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be looking at the evolution of e-commerce so that you guys can see a specific strategy that is going to produce a lot of millionaires in the year 2020 and beyond. It's a solid business model. We're not talking about something that's fly by night or some sort of loophole. And more specifically, I know that it's really easy for us to focus on how much money you've made and so forth with this method. But also, Steven, there's students that have done really, really well. Like you beta tested with people that are outside the USA, inside the USA, people that speak English as a second language, and so forth. So I'll probably end up grilling you on some of that stuff as well. I've actually got a bit to grill you on here. But without further ado, I just want to introduce everyone to Steven Clayton. Welcome along, Steven.
Thanks. It's great to be here. Really excited about it.
It's great to have you here. Now, first of all, I'd like you to just quickly maybe give us the 3-minute background about you, who you are, and how you got into physical product selling in the first place before we delve into the details of the specific method.
Yeah, sure. So I think what's unique about me is I'm kind of on my second career, depending on how you kind of count it. But I did 15, 17 years in corporate America. I was a chief information officer for a public company and ended my career as a VP for a Fortune 500 company. And obviously I learned a lot there, but it was pretty miserable, frankly. And that's a pretty rough road for somebody who's kind of a frustrated entrepreneur and wants to be an entrepreneur, to be working for big corporate. So I finally just said, yeah, I'm just unhappy and I want out. And I just decided I was going to make a go of it. And for me, because I had a technology background, and this is a long time ago. So, you're talking about, 12, 13 years ago or more, really. I just decided I was going to do online business because it really was a nice mixture of being an entrepreneur, my technology background, and obviously, sales and marketing and things like that. So it was a really nice mix for me. So I started with affiliate marketing and did really, really well, and quickly realized that for a more stable kind of, trajectory of building a huge business, I thought that e-commerce was really the way to go. So started doing e-commerce now 13 years ago. Started my first physical product. And I sold train horns. I'll give you one thing I used to sell, which you're probably going, what the hell? So people put these big horns.
You're selling bird cages as well.
Yeah, bird cages. We sold bird cages, but these big obnoxious train horns that people put in like trucks and cars to scare people, when they're going along the road. It was ridiculous.
It's nuts, actually. People don't quite realize how many products out there are doing well and are selling. And the fact is they don't have to order like 1,000 units or anything like that. In fact, they don't even have to pay for anything until after the customer has already paid you for it.
Right.
And those people that have heard of that kind of model, which is called drop shipping, they think it's dying because it's all out of China and getting over competitive, and that only the people with big pockets to pay for highly competitive ads are doing well. But actually, I'm seeing, well, two things. One is I'm seeing moms and pops still starting today, or at least recently, and doing very well, even with that model, drop shipping from China. But your model's ridiculously like impressive. Some of the people that you guys have interviewed with, I spent over an hour talking to one of your guys, Sean, behind the scenes, and he was showing me his store doing over $1 million a month now. $1 million a month. That is insane, and that's not drop shipping out of China. And this is like selling all sorts of weird products. I mean, you know, like heads up units, you know, mints, you know, it could be anything, books, pens, the works. Like there are literally over 3 million products that you guys are cataloged. Anyway, I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here. So one thing that I've noticed about you though, it's not like you have shiny object syndrome. That affects a lot of people online. They go, I'm going to try affiliate marketing, and then they get down the rabbit hole, they make a few sales, and then bam, they're like, this doesn't work. And they go, I'm going to try making my own digital product. And then they go, no, I'm going to try drop shipping and stuff like that. Right. And I guess usually I find that the people that succeed are the people that just stick to one model and they go really well and they carry on with it and they carry on with it. Whereas with you, I noticed that you are still making over $1 million a year in affiliate commissions. You're still making over $1 million a year selling digital products. You're still making over $1 million a year drop shipping out of China, over $1 million a year selling on Amazon separately. So you are the definition of a serial entrepreneur. Like you've got something that makes you succeed in all the models and continue to, even if they become competitive or not, as opposed to, right, I'm going to try something, this doesn't work, and then stopping. What makes that even happen for you? And I will get into the details, by the way, about this new method that's going ridiculously well in just a sec. But
well, you know, I mean, I think it's not. I think it's definitely in line with what you were saying about making sure that you stay focused and don't, you know, spread yourself too thinly and don't fall prey to shiny object syndrome. As an entrepreneur, I think we all have a little bit of attention deficit disorder, and you know, we all have way too many ideas that we could possibly implement or execute. And, you know, many of us are really great starters and not great finishers sometimes because we're off doing other things. So I think that for us, what we've been able to do is identify that that's a weakness. And so kind of what we do is we develop these models, we pursue them, we bring them to a level of maturity, we bring them to a big stable company. And what we normally do is we end up hiring a CEO for that company. Somebody who's a little bit more operations driven and less entrepreneurial, frankly, because entrepreneurs make shitty employees, honestly, because we're, you know, always off doing other things. We think we can do better, you know, blah, blah. So we kind of do it that way. And then we're able to become more of like a board of directors and, you know, sort of say, well, okay, well, let's try this evolution of this model. Let's tweak it. Let's fix some of the problems that we've seen and things like this. And then the other thing is it also frees us up for our passion. My business partner and myself, Aiden and I, you know, our passion is teaching and coaching and working with people. And so it gives us the opportunity to spend time doing the things that we really love if we've got other people kind of running the things that we built to a certain level.
I really like also that you guys always are looking ahead. You're not looking to, say, come up with an idea that might sell a course. You know, that's not, I see that, and that's part of the reason why your courses end up being so good. It's more that you know that there are a few little problems with a business that's already going well. Like you're already doing well drop shipping out of China. You're already doing well selling on Amazon, and you're always looking to be the blue ocean though. You're always looking to be the guy that in those niches is actually finding a way to be disruptive or find the new market. Like you're not looking to go, right, we're going to be the best on Amazon. You're like, Amazon, some of the best guys are here making 30 million a month. You're really happy with getting it here, but your strategy to get to 30 million a month in physical products is, okay, we're competing at the point where for products and stuff where there's high margins. You're not looking to be $30 million making 10% margins. You're high margins, and then you're trying to find another blue ocean. And you went off to Japan. You studied what some of their models were. You came up with. You knew that some of the problems were, one is 2 to 3 weeks shipping time if it's coming from China, or two, if you're selling on Amazon and it's fast shipping, there you have to buy a lot of inventory up front, keep replenishing, and you may have other issues to do with competitors leaving maybe negative reviews on your products that are false and stuff like that. Like, you're still doing well there, but you're going, well, what's a model that can eliminate that problem, perhaps even get traffic from another source, not Amazon, not Facebook, but somewhere else. And you were like, how does that work? You're not even thinking about how to sell a course. Like, I like the way that you went about that, because it means that you're able to just run a successful business. And if that business turns out successful, you end up being able to also, if there's room in the market, you're able to teach it to other people. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
That's exactly our model. Everything, what we talk about is everything that we do that works, we try to teach. And, that's not the sum of everything, because not everything works. So.
All right. It makes total sense. But it also makes sense that you're not looking at, say, teaching a model that's got a saturation point, or at least an early one. And that's what's good about a lot of these other models and why they last so long. Like affiliate marketing, people are starting brand new today and are going to become millionaires this year that are starting right now. Like it happens every year because it's a very viable model. Yep. However, it's at the very start of the whole thing, it was ridiculously easy, like beyond easy. You think everyone thinks they're a genius because they could do it completely wrong and still do really, really well. And you're kind of at that phase with this new model. Yeah. Maybe you could explain some of the problems it overcomes and why it overcomes it. Like also even just building of the store, like you knew that in order for you to be able to scale, you needed to make it so that your stores were fast to build and easy, and delivering of the product and drop shipping out of the USA. Maybe you could fill us in on some details. And then I want to chat about one of the beta testers.
Sure. I think if you look at what's required to build an e-commerce business, there are plenty of opportunities, along that path to have problems. And, when you have gone through this evolution of different tweaks of e-commerce models and have taught tens of thousands of people, you have an opportunity to see all those areas. And obviously what we're trying to do here at this point is just to get rid of every single failure point, or at least mitigate it to the point where it's just kind of a no-brainer. So, my lights just went off there. So if you take a look at like website, for example, you just mentioned, just little copywriting things and colors and what do the buttons look like. And, sure, anybody can you can go to Shopify or wherever and put a store together. But if it's not set up, so that it's a converting machine, then it's not going to work as effectively as it should. So if you have best practices, there's no reason why anybody needs to fail there, because we can just give that to you, which is what we do. So you push a button and all of a sudden, okay, your store looks appropriate. It's got the right colors, got everything right, all that sort of stuff. Then you get into, suppliers, right? Because you got to have products to sell. And, you want to avoid having to buy products up front, because that's a failure point. Having enough capital, it's also a risk. I got to buy 1,000 of them. What if they don't sell? Where am I going to put them? How am I going to fulfill those orders? There's a huge issue there. So obviously drop shipping, or that model, that drop ship model, meaning somebody buys it from you on your store and then you pay for it at wholesale and, they ship it out for you. That's the way to go. So you can get rid of that with some training, but what you can't get rid of is the next failure point, which is, people have a problem talking to people. And they're almost embarrassed by calling up a supplier and saying, well, gee, gosh, could you possibly drop ship for me? And, people fail there because it's human nature, right? Some of us are more comfortable doing that than others. So we get rid of that by simply having these relationships already built, with all these suppliers. Nobody has to talk to anybody or ask permission or anything. These are suppliers that are ready, willing, and able to do the drop shipping, and a database of millions and millions of products. So there you go.
3 million. It's just amazing that you've built it up to over 3 million products and growing. So do you have quite a large team that's doing that for you guys?
We do. We have a really, really big team. And it's one of the ways that we said, that this is going to be a no-brainer for us to teach, because essentially this team has been identifying more and more suppliers and products than we will ever use. So we have this ability to provide this database. And the other thing that we're doing as far as like product selection, because that's another pain point, another failure point, is we're giving each of our students 5 surefire winner products that are just for them. So in other words, you can have this big database, and we have software and tools that you can go in there and you can say, give me just these and, this kind of profit margin and, that sort of thing. But in order to make it even easier, and make sure that we get rid of even more failure points, we're just going to give you, 5 products, each of the students that come along.
Okay. So some people will be thinking, well, 5 products and you end up with, say, 500 or 1,000 students. That means that you have to have 5,000. Wait a minute, 5,000. That's nowhere near 3 million products that you've got. You've already got 3 million products to choose from. You can do this. You can make sure everybody has five products, but they're not only given 5 products, they're given access to the whole 3 million. So they can.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is just kind of a jumpstart.
Products on it. But I will and the reason why it's important people understand, because people probably think each product makes a little amount each. They don't realize that. I'm looking at Sean's store that you introduced me to. I'm looking at what you guys are doing. I'm looking at what some of your beta testers are doing. It's crazy numbers, and its majority are made from whichever few products they decide to focus on. So, for instance, you've got a beta tester, JB. JB's from Argentina. So English isn't even his first language, and he's got a wife and 2 kids. He has no experience with e-commerce products. So you're talking about a brand new newbie to this whole thing, and he's trying out your system. He's tried some stuff in the past, had some ups and downs. Things hadn't gone particularly well, and yet he made $316 in his first day. So 24 hours in, and he's on $316. And by the way, the people wondering, 10 weeks in now, and he's on $154,000. 10 weeks, $154,000 for a brand newbie, and that's at a rate of 50% profit. So you're talking $75,000 in 10 weeks, and that's all from 3 products.
Just 3.
He may have other products in the store. There's only 3, but majority, 90% of the sales are 3 products.
Right.
So imagine if you're given 5 surefire winners. Top up your store with a bunch of others out of that 3 million. It's it's really highly exciting.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. We're particularly excited about these 5 products because what we've been doing over the last about year or so is, as we've identified this whole superset of products, we've applied this very strict filter to picking these products, that we're giving to our students. And less than half of 1% of all of the products that we looked at were passing this filter. So because we made it so strict, that doesn't mean that the other 2.999 million products could make, lots of money as well. But we wanted to just say, look, this is like freaking no brainer, So we're really excited about that part.
Yeah, no, I think it's phenomenal. It reminds me a lot of, I think it's around about generally it's about anywhere between 2 and 5 years, you get a new model comes along where it is disruptive, where it takes a couple of years before it becomes kind of a normalized model, where it's still a good business model, but there's lots of competition, like everyone that started drop shipping 5 years ago was making like a lot of money for a long time, and new dropshippers today are doing really well, drop shipping out of China, but back then it was like really, really hard not to, it was crazy. And now this model, you use a different traffic source, which is used by so many different people around the world. Over $1 billion every month. In fact, I think it might be every week is spent online in these different traffic sources. Like they're different shopping channels, and there's a lot out there. And from what I saw, and I like your student, or he's sort of a partner / student now, but he started out as your student, Sean. He was showing me like the costs of advertising were 8 times cheaper than
it's crazy.
ads. 8 times cheaper than Facebook. So no wonder the profit margins are so high, and it's full of buyers. People actually go there specifically to buy stuff, not like Amazon, yet it's 8 times cheaper. So
absolutely.
Have you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's not even just, I would probably be excited if it was the same price even as Facebook traffic. So yes, it's incredible that it's 8 times cheaper. But for me, the biggest difference is the complexity. You and I both know that, this is an amazing time to be a marketer, right? We've got at our fingertips the most powerful advertising platforms that man has ever seen, with Facebook and Google AdWords and the Amazon ecosystem. The ability to target, segments of customers and potential customers, and the abundance of traffic it's an embarrassment of riches, but it comes with an enormous cost. And I'm not talking about the cost per click or the actual dollar cost. I'm talking about the complexity. I mean, taking Facebook as an example. Nowadays, you have to be a graphic design expert. You have to be a copywriting expert. And oh, by the way, you have to be a Facebook, user interface expert to really get the most out of that platform. It has become so powerful, but so complex that it's a non-starter, in my opinion. Imagine trying to get a beginner, and say, look, this is the lifeblood of your business. You have to become an expert in Facebook. Okay, well, I'll see you in like 2 years. And then, oh, by the way, in 2 years and 2 days, Facebook is going to make a major change that's going to require you to rethink the whole thing again. It's, overwhelming. So, I mean, I know as well as I do.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely, I see a lot of people succeeding, like our students succeeding extremely well with Facebook. I mean, it's still it is a highly viable model, even for newbies. However, it does have problems like you're saying as well, that, things, you have to be willing to roll with the punches, go with changes that happen there. It's not just set up as a site for buyers. It's not like, say, even though we're not talking about Amazon here, it's not like Amazon, which is just full of shoppers. It's people that are communicating, connecting with each other, reading articles, watching videos, being entertained. In some ways, it's like a TV network. So it's a little bit of a different feel and a different way of doing things. Whereas you're just going straight, but you've found places where people are going to buy, and
they're ready to buy. It's not interrupt driven. It is permission based practically, which is, they're there with their credit card.
That are competing with Amazon. Now I know that these sources, and I'll reveal one of them here, but I know that there are several others. Like one of them is, say, Google Shopping as an example. And I know that you reveal a lot more on the training webinar, so I won't let the cat out of the bag on everything here. I know you reveal specific products that are selling, that are good. You get into case studies and so forth. So we'll leave that for the workshop. If people want to join that, then make sure that you join through the link that we'll put on. We'll put below the video or whatever. Make sure that you join us for our workshop, because this training lab is going to be insane. It's going to blow the lid on everything to do with this model. So anyway, when it comes to Google Shopping, because that's obviously one of the shopping sites, because people are probably sitting there wondering, well, what kind of places are there? You know that Google is so huge. You know that their plans are to not just stay where it is, but to try and compete with Amazon. So that no wonder they're charging so little for advertising, because they're trying to, populate their site. Their Google shopping engine doesn't even compare to Amazon, but that's where we come in. We are here to make Google shopping turn into Amazon, and there are other shopping sites like that too, so where there are a lot being spent, billions of dollars a month, and you guys are at the forefront of this.
Yeah. I mean, Google Shopping can be compared to Amazon in one way, which is just the volume of traffic. I mean, the volume of traffic, I don't have the exact numbers, but, they're probably pretty similar. It's when you get into the rest of the ecosystem and the competition, there's, tons of competition on Amazon, but not so much on Google Shopping.
You go look for something on Google Shopping and you don't always, sometimes you find it, don't get me wrong, quite often you do, but quite frequently you don't as well, but you do when you're in Amazon. So there are issues there for Google Shopping. They need guys like you, me, and your students in order to thrive. They need us. They need, so this course kind of needs to exist. Someone had to discover this model, but you're not just reliant on Google Shopping anyway. There are other traffic sources, other highly growing places full of buyers. So I think that is phenomenal too, because a lot of people will just be like, great, Google Shopping, but it's not just Google Shopping. It's not the only place as well.
Right.
Fantastic. And, and I appreciate you letting me sort of reveal that, because I know that you've got a lot more to reveal, and even more to anyone that decides to become one of your students. I mean, you've got software that builds the whole site for people in less than an hour.
Yep.
I mean, that must have been expensive to put together, but I can see how it would have been. It's good for you guys, because you can also, for your own sake, you can put together even more of these kinds of sites yourselves, even.
Right.
So, out of interest, when it comes to building these sites, what happens if someone's already got a site? Let's say they're already drop shipping. Can they add on to that existing site and use your model, or do they have to start with your builder and build a new site?
Well, there's no have to's, but it depends. I mean, if you've got a site that's a great converter and you've already learned all the lessons that we're trying to avoid people having to relearn, great. It's not a problem. But if you have a site that hasn't been successful, then you probably want to use what we have, because hopefully the idea is we've kind of have all the lessons learned encapsulated, in this box for you, this kind of pay by number system. So it would make sense for you to use it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just having a look at my my notes here. Like, one thing that's different about this than, say, Amazon wholesale, the thing about Amazon is you need a seller certificate. You got to have like a US LLC and bank account, expensive pre-sale product prep. It can be logistically challenging these days, and you've got to buy a bunch of inventory up front. Yet this is no reliance on Amazon, no fees. I mean, another problem with Amazon is that 30% fee, and so
it's crazy.
I just love that none of this happens, and that it was fast enough to set up that your beta testers are able to make sales even on their very first day. And
first day.
That is, it's kind of mind blowing that can happen.
Yep. It's amazing. I mean, we love it because I think one of the single biggest reason why people give up is because they don't see, kind of immediate results. And so, from a psychological perspective, at the end of the day, our goal is we want to get like 100% of people successful, or as close to that as we possibly can. So anything we can do, to game the system here, to make sure that people, feel good about things, stick with it, stick with the training, run, trust the process. We're going to come out ahead there. I did want to mention about this, the reseller certificate, because I think it's really, really important. In the past, that has been a real struggle for people. It sounds ridiculous, like it ought not to be a struggle. And I think, we probably in the past underestimated the trouble that people would have with it. It's very confusing. And in the United States, every state calls it something different. Every state has a different way you apply for it. Every state has different requirements. The bottom line is it's an enormous pain in the ass. So one of the things that's very unique about what we're doing now is we said, look, we're sensitive to that. We're going to focus on making sure that 95% of the products that we have in our database and 100% of the 5 products we give to you do not require a reseller certificate. And we actually make that clear within our database. You can filter the database and say, I only want to see those products that don't need a reseller certificate. And the reason for this is that later on, once you've built a store, you're 3 months out, you're having fun, you're doing great. You want to look at ways of scaling and expanding and, maybe building an LLC in the US or whatever. Okay, then you get your reseller certificate. Now, that other 5% becomes available to you. But we were very conscious. We're like, I want to front end the database with no reseller certificate required. And I want to make sure that that is not a roadblock for people. So anyway, it's something that we really paid a lot of attention to.
No, I mean, I think that's fantastic. One thing that people get also, if they do decide to go through the workshop and possibly join your private coaching and so forth, is they get significant technology advantages. I know that you've got software for building the site, you've got software for preloading the products into your site. Like, can you explain to people how easy it is to preload products into their site? Because I know that is a challenging roadblock for technophobes, like people that are like, I can't build a website. I've never put a website online before in my life. I can't even use Microsoft Word. How am I going to build a website? And
right.
Brand new newbies, grandmas, granddads getting a website online in less than an hour with products in it. How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, there's 2 pieces to it. The first is obviously getting the site up and running, which is, just push button, and then all of a sudden, everything is there that we think should be there. And then it's individual products. And it is literally as hard as just saying, we have an option on the software that says publish to the store. You just push that button and that's it. It gets published to the store and it's ready for sale. That's as hard as it is. I wish I had more to say about it, but that's kind of...
No, that's awesome. And I just want people to also know that anyone that does join through the webinar, you're also going to be getting something that I've never offered before with a program, but you're getting me as a private coach. And just for full disclosure, I don't mean one-on-one, I mean group coaching, where I'm building a store. In fact, I'm going to build a couple of stores like this in front of you guys. And for 60 days, you're going to get to just look over my shoulder, watch what I'm doing, copy what I'm doing, and see me achieve profits from a couple of separate stores. I'm going to do 2 stores because one, you're going to see on camera everything. And the other one, you're only going to see the stats, the money that's coming in. And the reason I'm doing that is just in case I get, like, let's say 50 people buy through my link. So 50 of you are watching my store, and let's say 20 of you copy my precise products. Maybe my profit rate might go down. I don't know. So just in case, I'm going to have 2 stores so you can see the impact of that. I think chances are they'll both still be highly successful, but I'll probably do slightly better with the one where nobody is sort of ripping off everything that's working for me, if that makes sense. But anyway, that's one of the things you'll get, because some people, I know that you guys do a lot of hand holding. Your customer support is brilliant. But sometimes people want to look at somebody else that's just starting from scratch, following the model like they are, step by step. And I would not be doing that if I thought that was going to lead to too much, say, support time at my end. But I know that the system is so straightforward. I've seen it. I've seen it inside out. I've looked at it with your team, and I know that this is a no-brainer. This is straightforward, and I'm really looking forward to it. And honestly, some of these videos are going to be pretty short. You're going to see my updates and so forth, and people are just going to be like, that's impressive, the results, but is that it? Just, and they'll just be diving in and hopefully seeing their own results. I'm looking forward to that. And there's honestly a lot of other things that I have invested in that are software based and so forth, that are going to help give people an unfair advantage in this niche, because a lot of people don't realize that I have a big e-commerce company as well, that we make software and so forth that uncovers even more suppliers for physical products. We work with eBay power sellers and other people in order to, and we do really well with physical products, selling camping equipment and so forth, sell millions of dollars worth of that, both online and offline at trade shows and so forth. So we know what we're doing there as well. So some of the bonuses that we provide are going to give you a huge unfair advantage over any possible competition, which I think that's added protection for you in your business. Okay, so I know that you didn't think it was a worthy story to tell, but I think it's worthy anyway. Because before the call, we were discussing how you'd made 76,000 in 24 hours. And you were saying to me, you know what, people don't really want to hear my story. They kind of want to hear about JB, who's starting from scratch and stuff, because it's more relatable versus you, who's done well in physical products and now you're doing well over here. However, I think I would kind of like to hear about it anyway, because it shows what's possible, because this is still a relatively new model even for you. I mean, 3 years ago or 2 years ago, you weren't doing this model. Like, this is still relatively new. Now, can you give a few tips? How did you go about making 76,000 in 24 hours? And I think it was around $1 million in a month.
Yeah. I mean, it's really just following this system. I mean, I wish I had, like a 25 words or less secret I could share with everybody, but it all comes down to fine tuning all of these potential failure points, and also, the points that, you can optimize more. And traffic was a big part of that, because again, we've talked about the fact that there's so much traffic available at these traditional sources with Facebook, Amazon, Google AdWords, that kind of thing. But, the cost is high, as you pointed out, 8 times higher than kind of this other traffic source. And the complexity is high, as I've talked about. So I think that the real key to that phenomenal growth was the traffic source, and just uncovering, hey, this is kind of the secret sauce.
Multiple ones. And I think that one thing that I notice also, and, I know I'm being quite revealing in this particular session, but I think it's kind of important because people trust me to get the most out of these interviews. I think one thing that's really important also is that as you scaled, and I've seen this because I've been talking to your team behind the scenes, as you scaled, eventually you went to hire a virtual assistant that you could free up your time, because that's sort of unspoken. Sometimes people say, like, they see this, so they think, well, how many staff are involved? The fact is, one staff member being paid $200 to $300 a month, which is a full-time wage over in another country, can run this whole business for you and scale it and be doing it 24/7, so that you can just be doing the fun parts and they are doing the remainder. Because some people are probably wondering, by the time I'm making that many sales, surely there's going to be a bit of work. Like, someone's going to be responding to emails, someone's going to be, looking at the products or double checking things over or looking at my ads. And, it's amazing that what one person can do on a full-time wage as a virtual assistant. Do you teach that in your program?
We do. We absolutely do. Definitely. And, I just wanted to add just two quick things, Mark, if I could, on the whole, getting to that scale that you were talking about. I think the other thing is that we freed ourselves up from having to be niche specific. And that was kind of the big thing that we learned in Japan. By going to Japan and really reverse engineering this, this company called Don Quixote, where they sell everything, from, nail files to, 8K TVs, you name it, they sell it. They are not niche specific. They are product driven, and they are ruthless in their testing of products. And, if a product doesn't work out, they get rid of it and they bring in something that does. And it's a lot easier to implement that model online. And I think really, going there, seeing what they were doing, understanding their business model, and then tweaking that, applying to how we can leverage that online. That was another big kind of shift for us with this new model. So sorry to backtrack a little bit, but
no, that's great. That is really good. personally, I'm really good at making back-end sales and continuing to make sales to existing customers. And I spent over an hour recording a session with Sean, who is one of your back-end guys behind the scenes, where we showed people how to drive even more sales to a Kibo store with all of these extra methods applied. And it's phenomenal the amount of extra sales, which
Absolutely.
if you can make an extra 15 to 20% on top, that, that margin can be, it makes so much difference to how fast you grow your business and reinvest and can continue to pay for ads and so on and so forth. And the reason I'm mentioning it is that is one of you're getting the full recordings of that if you are one of the people that do decide to join the Kibo Code through the webinar that's coming up. So through the training lab that's coming up. So I thought I'd just quickly drop that in, although we've got 10 exciting bonuses that people get on top. And I know that you haven't even mentioned the full system here because that's going to come up on the workshop. But what I love about the whole thing is that you're so open. You're not like being really cagey going, well, we can't share this, we can't share this. Oh, if we just told them that one sentence here or there, then they're not going to buy the product. Like this, that realistically, people can go on the workshop. They could do it manually themselves, but they're going to save so much time and money by having access to your software that it's kind of a no-brainer if you're really going to succeed with this, that you're probably going to join you guys and get that extra hand helping and that extra software, because if you're going to end up doing it and doing it properly, you're going to want to do it 8 times faster than if you were to go it yourself. Like, I just love that you've got a model where it's like, here's the model, here's how it works, here's the traffic source, here are the products, here's how to do it, and here's how to do it for yourself. And you're willing to teach people all of that on a workshop. However, if you would like this easier and faster, here's how we can help you. I love that kind of a product. It's so much better than, well, here's this elusive system that produced this result, but you have to buy a product and we'll share the secret. Like, I'm sick of products like that. And it's a refreshing approach. So I'm really excited about this workshop. Like, people are going to gain so much value from this particular workshop. It's crazy. So you're going to reveal a bunch of case studies though on there. Like, you're going to show, we've talked about JB, but you're going to show a lot more people and even actual products that are selling and stuff like that. You're getting into
we are. We're gonna dive, as you said, we're gonna dive deeper into JB's case study too, and show products and the site and the whole bit. I think we've been usually log in and show the back end of the site, the whole thing. So yeah, there's a lot to be seen.
Awesome. Now, can you please tell me, and just be level with me here, what are the frustration points that have come up for newbie beta testers doing this model? What are their, because I know that you guys have probably overcome them yourselves and probably don't find them to be frustration points, but other people might. And I want to know what are the pitfalls for, let's say I was to get my dad to do this. He's 72, 73. What is he? He's about to turn 73 in a couple of months. What pitfalls would you say that he might face?
I think one of the things that we saw kind of early on was some paralysis by analysis. People get sort of stuck and say, oh, I'm not sure I'm picking the right products. Back when we had to be niche specific, I'm not sure I'm picking the right niche. And it's really the thing that drove us to give everybody 5 products, because we felt like, and we've seen if we can give 5 products, we get rid of that potential for paralysis by analysis. People just, pulling out their hair, not making progress because they're worried that they're not doing the right thing. And we just try to focus and say, just do it, just put it out there and make a sale. And then what we find is that once people make a sale, then, it's like magic. It's like this fog lifts, and they're much more open to sort of taking a step, without, worrying about, this paralysis by analysis. So I honestly think that And you saw that in a couple different points, like, well, okay, well, what should I name my store? And, you know, what should the colors be? And, you know, things that are not worth having.
No, I see that all the time in other niches too. I get people, it's kind of like, I'll explain it in a way that makes sense to people. Imagine if someone's starting a new, let's say a girl is going to paint people's nails. That's her business. And you'll find that the average person starting up a store on, you know, like that does painting nails, they will spend like 6 months just sorting out their business cards, their letterheads, their logo, what the design, you know, like it's insane when they should just be getting started.
Absolutely.
Even if they've just got a little ugly area in their house or whatever, like, and you're overcoming these sort of issues to just get people, you know, like just get, you know, learn by doing.
Ready, fire, aim. That's the, you know, that's the watchword.
Why ready, fire, aim works especially well in this model is because the traffic costs 8 times cheaper.
Yeah, it's just no risk.
It can be problematic when the prices are, you know, ready, fire, aim, and you only succeed with 1 in 10. In your case, ready, fire, aim, and succeed with, you know, majority.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can't do ready, fire, aim with brick and mortar. You know, you just can't do it. I mean, it's impossible.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah, definitely. I guess more if you're doing it from home, I guess. But yeah, totally. Order is tough because you got to rent a place that's totally separate. Okay. Anyway, so the basic key of it though is that this model, you own the store, you own the customer info, which is great. Unlike Amazon, say it's very scalable. So you're not limited to one niche. It's a mega store kind of thing. It's very fast put together thanks to your software that you've invested the hundreds of thousands into. There's no reliance on say traditional sources like Facebook or Google. It's not Google AdWords or YouTube ads. There's no reliance on Amazon. No need to deal with China. No inventory orders until after someone has bought from you already. There's a passive approach to brand building. There's no USA limited liability company or bank account required. So you've got students that are outside the USA, you know, every continent in the world. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can do this, and you don't have to ship products to your country. You can ship them to people that are in the US or Canada. That's not to say you can't ship worldwide. You can.
Sure.
No reseller certificate required. I mean, this is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to this workshop coming up. Have you got anything more to say about either the model or the workshop coming up?
I mean, I think it's, listen, what do you have to lose by, you're going to learn something in the workshop. I mean, that's a given. So I certainly hope so. So, you know, all knowledge is good. I mean, there's no downside to attending the workshop, and I guarantee you it will be, you know, worth the time you invested. And then, you know, you've got an opportunity to take advantage of something that basically gets rid of all the roadblocks for you, so you don't have to bang your head against the wall. It's really what it comes down to.
And we've got a free 44-page book for people. Do you want to tell people what's in that as well? So, because some people may want to just download and start reading that now. Yeah,
I mean, you know, it basically gives you just a ton more details behind the scenes of all the things that we've been talking about right here. As you can imagine, there's no fluff in that. It's all transparent, you know, information. And, you know, as Mark said, there's clearly enough information between that, attending the workshop. You could run this, you know, yourself. You could definitely figure out how to do this. But at some point, that doesn't make much sense, you know.
And for everyone that registers for the workshop, we're also going to be giving you, just for registering, a further PDF book which contains 10 niches or 10 products right away that are, you know, great opportunities. They're just 10 randomly chosen products out of your 3 million products that are proven, ready to go. So people can at least get a look in of what it feels like, looks like, and so forth. So you're going to get that as well. So if nothing else, register to grab that. Okay, Steven, I just want to say a really big thank you for being here on this particular call. You've been really just so open about everything. You know, a lot of guests like to say, no, hold this back, hold that back. And you've just been like, no, just whatever. I'll share everything. I'm not too worried about everyone just uncovering everything. Like, you're not protective or anything. You've been very open and honest about everything, all the pros, the cons, the pitfalls, challenges, and so forth. And I just want to say a really big thank you for being here on this particular call. It's been highly inspiring. I'm very, very excited about this.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Thanks very much. We're really excited too. But thanks very much.
And for everyone listening, make sure to join us for the training lab, for the workshop. Make sure that you join. We'll put the link below or beside the video. Make sure you join us, register, and we'll see you on there. All right, that's it from me. Take action with what you learn, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now, everybody.
Cheers.